The powers granted to the federal government in the Articles of Confederation were specific and few. They included the authority to borrow and coin money, to conduct foreign diplomacy and war, and to settle disputes between the states. In general, however, the states refused to give up their sovereignty and power. So the Confederation government proved too weak to cope with the foreign and domestic crises of the 1780s.
The Articles of Confederation are a first attempt at some structural central government, but they ultimately fail because they do not really create much of a central government at all. There was no executive, there was no judicial branch. All amendments had to be passed unanimously by the states. There was no form of raising revenue. Everyone was to donate if they wanted to, and you can imagine how little money they raised doing that. There was no national or systemic defense system, so they ultimately proved very unworkable.
I would look at three areas where people had concerns about the insufficiency of the authority of the national government under the Articles of Confederation. One of these was economics, particularly in the area of trade. With the loose affiliation of the Articles of Confederation, the states were free to tax goods that were produced in other states. They were free to set up tariffs and barriers to trade to try to protect their own local farms and industries. This was disastrous from an economic point of view. So something had to be done to create free trade, really, among the several states. So sentiment arose to forbid the states from taxing each other's goods, or at least taxing them in a discriminatory way, from erecting tariffs and barriers to trade and so forth. Another area was in the area of domestic order, having a national government that would be strong enough to ensure that the states weren't actually fighting with each other. And then the third area would be in the area of foreign affairs, to have a national government that would enable the United States to protect itself against foreign enemies, and a government that would be strong enough to take its rightful place among the family of nations.
By 1787, most Americans recognized that the Articles of Confederation were too weak to provide an effective union of the states.
In view of these concerns on the economic and domestic and foreign affairs front, sentiment arose for a stronger constitution, a constitution with a stronger national government.
And the framers quickly realized this. By 1787 in May, they meet in Annapolis to reconsider their Articles of Confederation, to alter them. They don't have a quorum. They meet in September in Philadelphia. And the first order of business really is the most interesting. Within days, they admit what they're going to do is scrap the Articles of Confederation and begin anew and write a constitution. So one of the first things that happens in Philadelphia is the writing of a new constitution.
Although the Articles of Confederation failed to establish a strong central government, it was a necessary first step that led up to the drafting of the United States Constitution in 1787. American independence had been achieved. The next great challenge was for this loose confederation to come together as one nation. In Volume 3 of Documents of Destiny, we'll look at the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Federalist Papers, and George Washington's farewell address.